Thanks. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. My name is Rick Arsenault. And before we go any further, please do me a favor, get down there in that corner and smash that like and subscribe button. You'll be doing me a huge favor. Thank you so much. As usual, I've got a mountain of stuff to get to. Honestly, there's no way I can see cramming it into the next 20 minutes. So whatever I get left over, we'll have to hold over until Tuesday. There's simply a lot going on right now. So we'll get this out of the way and get this baby underway. Time Out Overtime is sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. If it's time for a new-to-you vehicle, let the sales professionals at Beck's help you choose the right vehicle. New or pre-owned, Beck's has a top selection in the tri-state area with over 200 vehicles in stock. Stop by and see it for yourself, and when you're ready, ask for Russ McBordy, Chris Otis, Danny Smith, Adam Schaefer, Blake Bryan, Cameron Mincio, Bob Flynn, or Peyton Lucas. And when it comes time to service that new-to-you vehicle, the service pros at Beck's can fix it. Any make, any model, Ford or domestic, Beck's can fix it. And if you have a bit of a crunch or fender bender, Beck's Body Shop can put it back together looking just as good as new. So for all your automotive needs, look no further than Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. 517 517-849-2886. I hope you're like me. You're repeating that in your sleep. That's the number to remember. Or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Two, I'm going to keep, as I told you before, I'm going to keep hammering this into your heads. Go to your calendar right now and mark down Saturday, September the 14th. Very special event coming up at Frank Beck Chevrolet, which I will tell you about in just a few minutes. Let's get some things out of the way here first. Tigers, nice win last night in Toronto. Blue Jays aren't very good. Tigers have now won what? They've gone 9-2 in their last 11 games. They sit at 48-50. 10 games left between now and the trade deadline. They've got another game yet in Toronto tomorrow before they head to Cleveland for 3. Derek Skubal will be starting Monday night, and then he'll have another start, I believe, next Saturday, Comerica Park against Kansas City. Those will be his last 2 starts prior to the trade deadline. And, of course, until that trade deadline occurs, and the closer we get to it, you're going to hear more and more talk about the possibility of Scott Harris trading Derek Skubal. I mean, the question, given how Flaherty pitched last night, he'll be trading Flaherty, and if he can get a player like he got last year for Michael Lorenzen, that would be Hyu Lee, who's having a pretty decent season right now for Erie. That'd be a decent move. You got to remember, he'd be a rental. Whoever gets him, would only have him for the remainder of this season and the playoffs, providing they make the playoffs. But the Tigers are playing the Blue Jays right now as we speak. We talked a little bit about this morning on Time Out with Andy. And I mentioned this on my last podcast, too. Look, I doubt very much. The bottom line is, relax. I doubt very much they're going to trade Derek Skubal. They don't have to. They've got him for 2 more years yet. That's the one bargaining chip that Scott Harris has right now, folks. They don't have to trade him. They've got control of him for 2 more years yet. The only problem is, will he win the Cy Young this year? Probably, if he maintains what he's done up to this point. And look, the longer Scott Harris and Chris Ilitch wait to give him an extension, the more it's going to cost. Remember who his agent is. The inimitable Scott Boras. You say, what if the Tigers would offer him an extension prior to the end of the season. I don't see them doing that. It's conceivable, though. They could do something similar, something with him, similar to what they did with Colt Keith last winter. Give him a lucrative long-term deal. And nothing like Keith. What was Keith? Much younger than Skubal is. 4 or 5 year deal. I can see that. Scott Boras has to realize too. Think about his client. He could get hurt. He could get hit with a line drive. He could break something. He's already had Tommy John surgery. He might not be as effective next year as he is this year either. Just because he's having a great year this year at age 27 doesn't mean he's going to duplicate that next year. Well, look, the only way I would do this, I mentioned this before, the Dodgers are the only team with the financial resources to assume the contract of Javier Baez. Now, that'd be one way of getting almost $100 million off your books. Just depends on how badly Chris Ilitch and Scott Boras would consider that. Now, I think Ilitch, who's getting a reputation of being rather frugal, much more than his father, I think he would seriously consider that. But look, if the Orioles have 3 prospects in the top 15 of all of Major League Baseball. Number 1, Jackson Holliday, shortstop. In fact, he hit 2 home runs last night for AAA. I think the Orioles AAA affiliate right now. Is it Richmond? Maybe it's Richmond. Hit 2 home runs for them last night. Holliday and the catcher Sam Basallo, 12th rated prospect, and 6'5", 230-pound third baseman, 15th prospect by the name of Colby Mayo. That I would, if they would offer those 3, and it just depends on how badly the Dodgers want to win, what they think, how they feel about their window of opportunity. Is it closing? Look, they've lost 3 starters to injuries this year. If they would acquire Skubal, that would give them, and he will win the Cy Young this year, that would give them 2 Cy Young winners on their pitching staff to go along with Corbin Burns. But that would be the only way, if I were Scott Boras, that would be the only way I would consider this. I'm not saying I'd do it, I would have to consider it. I'd have to think about it. Those 3. Number 1 prospect, Jackson Holliday. Number 12, Sam Basallo, catcher. And 15, Colby Mayo, third baseman. That would give the Tigers, along with Max Clark at 10 and Jackson Jobe at 11, that would give the Tigers 5 prospects in the top 15 of all of Major League Baseball. You'd have to consider that. You really would. You've got 5 prospects in the top 15 Major League Baseball prospects. And as Jed and I were talking this morning, these are positions of need. Shortstop, third base, catcher. And these guys, folks, are ready for the big leagues right now. The obvious question is, if they're ready for the big leagues now, why aren't they up here playing now? They're being blocked by current players, folks, on the Orioles team, which is why the Orioles are in first place in the toughest division of baseball in 22 games over 500. They're that good. And they have the most talent, latent minor league system in all of baseball. But if I were Scott Boras, this would be the only way I would consider it. Has to include those 3, and I might even tell them they got to throw a pitcher in there too. You want to say, well, we don't know. Okay, fine. I don't have to trade him. We got him for 2 years yet. Just depends on how bad you want him. You want to win this year? You want to win the World Series? This is, and Scott Harris can't be getting much sleep either. You got to remember, if you're Scott Harris, one bad move can totally sabotage your entire career. Yeah, right here. This move right here. On the other hand, if it would work out and he gets three prospects who turn out to all be pretty good bona fide big league ball players, he'd be looked at as a very savvy baseball executive. But this move, this trade, whether you make it or not, this will define Scott Harris's entire career as a major league executive. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. I wouldn't want to be the one that has to make this decision. No. And what are the chances again of the Tigers signing Skubal to an extension this offseason? Especially if he wins the Cy Young. It's pretty hard for me to fathom Chris Ilitch writing a check for the amount of money that Scott Boras is going to ask for. It just is right now. Well, I want to, and that's all we're going to say about baseball. I also wanted to give you an update. Where is it? I've got it here somewhere. Hang on. An update on the British Open. Apparently, the rain has moved into Royal Troon across the pond. It's raining over there now. As of an hour ago, Billy Horschel and Daniel Brown were tied for the lead, both at 5 under. Horschel was through 15, Brown was through 14. So, and for those of you who are wondering, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy did not make the cut. It looks like Tiger's career might be coming to an end. It just wasn't that long ago that it looked as if he looked like a cinch to exceed Jack Nicklaus's record of a number of major tournament wins. It's looking more and more doubtful with each passing year. And that's too bad. But as we pointed out this morning, he's brought a lot of this on himself. I just physically don't think he's able to compete anymore. Yeah. Anyway. September the 14th. Mark, go to your calendar right now and mark down September the 14th. Very important day. Mark that on your calendar. Beck Chevrolet will be celebrating their 9th annual Salute to First Responders. Especially this year will be a very special tribute to Hillsdale County Sheriff's Department. Very special. Bring the kids, let them get up close to emergency vehicles, meet and talk with police and firefighters, play games and more. Bring the kids out. Be a great day for them. Great fun family event. Enjoy a free lunch. You sign up for prizes as we celebrate the area's first responders. Plus, there will be a poker run as well. That's Saturday, September the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Frank Beck Chevrolet and M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. As I've said before, on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. That will be a fun-filled event, marvelous event. Saturday, September the 14th. We were out there last year. They had a great crowd, very receptive crowd. Like I said, get free lunch. It's just bring the family. It's a fun day for everyone that day. And kids will enjoy it, have a good time. Like I said, you get a free lunch. I'll keep repeating this, be very repetitive until it actually gets, the closer we get to it. Saturday, September the 14th. Frank Beck Chevrolet's 9th annual Salute to First Responders. Don't forget that. I won't let you forget it. Football season started today with Lion rookies reporting Wayland Park this morning. The rest of the squad, I think, comes in next Tuesday, the 23rd. This has to be, this Lion season coming up, folks, has to be the most anticipated season in the history of Detroit sports. as I said this morning, the only thing I think comes close to it might be the 1968 Tiger season, because the year prior to that, on the last day of the 1967 season, they lost out on the pennant on the last day of the season, and people kind of felt after that game like they did after the 49er game last January. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, apparently the final episode of The Receiver aired earlier in the week, and that includes the whole ugly second half of the 49er game, everything that went wrong. I'm not going to watch it. Very painful to watch, and also something too that occurred. Apparently, there was something revealed in the Receiver in the last few episodes. Amon-Ra St. Brown sustained some kind of an oblique injury after the third game against Atlanta last year and prior to the Monday night game against Green Bay. And the Lions did not report the injury. They could be in a little trouble for not having done so. I don't know, what are you going to do? Fine him or something or whatever? We'll see if anything comes out of that. But well, anyway, this is a very anticipated season for the Detroit Lions. What are you going to watch? What are you going to watch? Keep your eye on in the preseason and in training camp. Any news that comes out of training camp every day. For me, I want to see the battle for that third wide receiver spot between Donovan Peoples-Jones and Antoine Green. And don't forget the undrafted free agent rookie out of Illinois, Isaiah Williams. I want to watch. I'm sure all three of those players will get plenty of playing time in preseason, which starts 2 weeks from Thursday. Thursday would be August the 1st. A week from Thursday. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. 2 weeks from this coming Thursday. All right, that's right. August the 8th. 2 weeks. So it's actually 19 days away yet would be the first preseason game. In New Jersey against the Giants. And in the few days leading up to the game, the Lions will be there for joint practices with the Giants, like they were here in Allen Park last year, practicing with the Lions prior to their preseason game that they had here to open the season. The Lions do have a game after that in Kansas City, which they wanted to also maybe hopeful of having joint practices with the Chiefs, but Andy Reid just doesn't do that sort of thing. So he said thanks, but no thanks. But I'm gonna be watching that wide receiver battle between DPJ and Antoine Green and Isaiah Williams. I got a good feeling about Antoine Green. Dan Campbell had a lot of good things to say about him and how he progressed last year. And, by the end of the season, they were very pleased with the progress that he had made. So he's got good speed, good size, maybe 6'2". I have a pretty good feeling about him too. So when you're watching preseason, keep your eye on number 80. I just got a pretty good feeling about him. I really do. So, I wanted to mention too, Pistons have one more summer league game, and that's tomorrow night at 8:30 against Utah. Knicks beat them last night, so they're 2-2. Summer league is what it is. It can be taken with a grain of salt. There weren't many people there. If you're a basketball junkie, you enjoy watching the summer league, which some people do. I can respect that. Oh, one more thing too. I want to get this out of the way before we leave. As you know, I always thank Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale, 37 Walker Street. That's a couple 100 feet west of Howell. For all your technical service needs, anything, computers, new or used. Maybe the computer you have now needs some work done on it. Flat screen TV installation and setup. internet installation, printers, new or used, anything at all, Tim is the guy you want to see. He is the man in our area. Again, 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale. 517-610-5372. Good guy. One of the nicest people you ever want to meet. And I can't thank him enough for setting me up here with this. That's why I'm able to talk to you folks and do this. So, okay. And again, we're done. If you haven't done it yet, go to your calendar. Mark down September the 14th. Special event at Beck Chevrolet, 9th annual salute to first responders from 10 to 2. Bring the kids out there. It's a be one fun day out there. I can promise you that. All right, that's about it. Are we done here? I think so. Don't forget, every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 here locally, 92.1 FM WCSR. Time on with Andy and Jed. And I will talk to you again on Tuesday. So until then, please remember, please treat each other with respect and have a good evening.